Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Home Buyers Club. What if I could save you thousands of dollars and get you into a home for little to no money down? Well, today we're going to talk about that in one of my favorite programs in my down payment grant assistance series. We're going to talk about the SETH program, but we're going to talk about the My Home Plus aspects of the SETH program. For those of y'all that saw the last video, we talked about the SETH program, the 5-star program. And if you haven't seen that video, definitely go back and take a look at that, depending on what type of home buyer you are. But what we're trying to do here is really educate you on the fact of how you can get into a home for little to no money down. But more importantly, how do you get into a home, buy your own home, and take advantage of the equity build that happens from ownership? We want you to start to build a legacy for yourself and your family, so that down the road, you'll be able to utilize this equity at a very high level if you want to, or maybe this is just getting from under the back of the landlord where you can own your own property. You know, when we talk about wealth and generating wealth, if you look at any wealthy person, most of the time they have some forms of real estate inside their portfolio. So that's to tell you that there's a strong relationship between wealth and real estate. Real estate always goes up. If you look at the pricing that we're looking at right now, many people believe that pricing is going to go down. Well, if you look at the history, even just go back to the 80s all the way to now, from the 1980s to now, that graph looks like that. It's going up. Prices have gone up continuously every single year. There's only been twice in the history of real estate where pricing technically went down at a very large scale. One was the Great Recession, which that was the bust for many of you guys. Some of you guys might not have been around during that time or old enough to remember it, but that was when the mortgage industry collapsed. The second time was during the Great Depression, and that was when the stock market crashed. So, other than those two times that we can remember, that is the only time that real estate has gone down. So, when you keep that in mind, we talk often. I talk to homeowners and they ask me, Walter, well, when's the best time to buy? When's the best time to buy my home? Your best time to buy your home is always today, because tomorrow the price of that home is going to be more expensive. And every year that goes by, that home gets more expensive. If you don't believe me, go ask your parents. Go ask someone who's older how much they paid for their house 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago. I can guarantee almost to the dollar, I'd bet $1,000,000 on this, that the price that they paid on the home that they're living in was much less, and they had much more square feet than the home that that people are buying today. Now, I say all that not to discourage you, but to let you know that urgency is important. It is important to start this process as soon as possible. Some of you may not be ready yet. And what I mean by that is your credit scores may not be there. Your debt to income ratio may not be there yet. You may have a lot of debt. Um, this is what's important to know about that. The sooner that you start the process, like I do in my team, we work with people that aren't necessarily ready yet, but are determined to become homeowners. And we help guide them through the process of getting their credit scores up to where it needs to be, which we'll discuss in a moment, and also helping them to shave that debt to income ratio and that debt ratio down. We need to get your debts down. Um, ultimately, this is what I believe. And I'll tell you, this is something that I see that's on a side note, but it's something that I see in my community often. In my community, a lot of times, we're willing to spend the money on this vehicle, which is technically bad debt. That vehicle depreciates. It goes down in value. The more you drive it, the more you own it, the longer you have it, it goes down in value. So we go spend the money. I talk to clients all the time with six, seven, $800, $900 car notes. And I say to myself all the time, why did you not buy a home first? Because this is the process I want to tell you why to buy the home first, and then we'll get into this SETH program. Is by buying the home first and establishing that mortgage and create the one first off is going to give you good credit history because as you start to continue to pay that month to month, it's going to increase your scores as long as you're paying that on time. Most importantly, is you can't do it reverse. I can't buy a car, have high debt, and then want to buy a house. Whereas I can buy a house, that house creates debt right in the beginning, and then go back and buy a car. And what's most important is if that's increasing your credit score, you're going to get a better interest rate. You're going to have better negotiation power when you go to get the car. You're going to get the car at a better rate by having a house and paying your bills on time and raising your credit score than you would by going to get the car before you go get the house. So, if we're talking about what do we do first, I would always lean in to going and buying it. You buy a used car, keep your money low, do some savings, and go purchase your home. Once you purchase your home, start to build that equity, start to pay off that debt, start to pay that monthly bill on time, regularly, and it'll increase your chances and your viability to get some of this other stuff that most of us like to drive into. So that's why I'm off my soapbox. Let's get to this SETH program. And I want to share my screen here. So let me scoot this over here. Go on a second here. Let me there we go. Okay. So hopefully you guys are seeing this, which I see you are. This is the SETH program, and you can get to this website, as you can see up here at the top. You can get to this website by going to www.sethfc.com. And if you go to that one, that'll take you to the main website, and then you just want to look at the My Home Plus program. But you can see up here at the top, it has a lot of information on here so that if you wanted to investigate and do some homework before you start to sit down with the lender and the real estate agent, it has some stuff in here for you. But let's start with their paragraph, which I always like to read. Our SETH My Home Plus program offers many different program opportunities designed to help a variety of homeowners find assistance that meets their needs. The maximum amount of the assistance is, here we go, 5%, and based on the final loan amount. So we'll talk about that here in a second. Assistance is provided in the form of a 10-year forgivable community second loan with no payments and is completely forgiven after 10 years. The program also includes a 30-year fixed rate, FHA, VA, USDA, or conventional mortgage loan. So let me break that down for you again really quick. What they're saying to you in that paragraph is that you can get a grant from this My Home Plus for up to 5%. So the average selling price in Houston right now is a little bit above $350,000. So if I was to take $350,000, multiply that by 5%, that gives you $17,500 that you would be putting down in a down payment. Everybody understand that? That's your down payment. So if the house costs $350,000 you're putting down to the lender, you're giving the lender $17,500. That's coming out of your bank account. What this is doing for you by utilizing this program is we're taking that $17,500 from the program and they're giving it to you in the form of a grant. Now, that grant, the rule is this: the grant is forgivable after 10 years. So that means you need to own the property for 10 years. You need to be in the property for 10 years. And they're going to put that grant as a second lien or second loan on the property that you make no payments to. So what that is saying is it's like if I took $17,500 out of my pocket and gave it to you and said, you don't have to make any payments to me on that $17,500. But as long as you stay in that house for 10 years, you own that house for 10 years, you never have to pay me back. That is what that means in regards to this grant. That's why I see it as so powerful for you. This is the other compliment too. You get a 30-year fixed. That means the mortgage never changes in price. 30-year fixed rate, and you can use FHA, VA, conventional, or USDA. Now, for my veterans out there, you guys know in the VA loans, that's 100% financing. So in essence, you could use this program to bring down your principal and still be at 100% financing where you don't put any money down. For my USDA people out there, that is also a 100% program that is available to you. So it's something to keep in mind when you look at this. FHA only requires 3.5%. Conventional has a 3% program, but normally they require 5% as your down payment. So this covers your down payment completely. You do not have to have a down payment to pay the lender with this program. Now let's see how you qualify or see who qualifies. Unlike the other program that I showed you about, the other SETH 5-star program, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer in order to utilize this program. You could have already bought a house for whatever reason, and now you're buying another house or you're buying a different house that you're going to live in. You do not have to be a first-time home buyer in order to qualify for this program. You do have to have a minimum FICO score of 620. Why is that important? Because FHA, VA, USDA, and which one did I forget there? Conventional, all require a 620 FICO score anyway. So you got to have a FICO score that fits both the grant and fits the loan. If you have higher than 620, even better. That's going to help with the interest rates. There is no maximum sales price. So we could do this on a $200,000 house, a $300,000 house, a $500,000 house, a $900,000 house. There is no maximum sales price in regards to where you can utilize this grant, but you must meet the program's income limits. There are income limits that you must meet within the program. That'll vary a little bit from county to county. That's why we're not going to talk about that too much. But it varies a little bit from county to county. What's most important is you want to make sure anything to qualify for a normal loan is going to help you to qualify for this program. Now, I think there's one thing that I think that's most important that you need to get out of my conversation here, or what I'm telling you in regards to this program, and then I'll let you guys go on to the next video. And it is this. As a renter, I was a former renter. As a renter, I spent a lot of money paying people rent. And there's nothing wrong with being a renter for a period of time. As a person that is a homeowner myself, I think it is vital that you become a homeowner and not be a lifelong renter. The reason why is because ownership of property creates legacy. If something was to happen to you, God forbid, and you've owned a property for X amount of time and you have some equity in that property, that goes to your kids and your family. That helps you. That helps your family. That gives your place stability. We know, I read in my last video, we talked about how statistics show that being a homeowner creates stability, creates pride in a neighborhood, has lower um, you know, thefts and things like that, that criminality that happens within a neighborhood is less in home owned neighborhoods. We know this. We know that statistics show that kids get better grades in school when they live in a home that they own, that's theirs. The pride of home ownership plays a role in this. The thing that I think that's the biggest obstacle for most families is most families doesn't in today's world just don't have 30, 40, $50,000 where they can put 5 to 20% down on a house, pay closing costs, get the inspector, and so on and so forth of the cost. That's why when I take my families that I work with to builders, we look for incentives. That's why I negotiate a very high level for my home buyers, is because I know what it's like to be out here and want to be a homeowner and feel like you don't make enough money. This is a tool that we use to help you. It will help you not have to have so much money to buy a home, but more importantly, you still get the benefits as if you put that money down, which is decreasing the principal on the home. So, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm a mortgage broker. Excuse me, I'm a real estate broker. I was a mortgage broker for many years, so I can answer many questions that you might have in regards to that. You can always reach me at 832-257-9083. Of course, go onto my social media. We'd love to see you there. Jump down in the bottom here, ask questions. I will reach out to you there, of course. But most importantly is watch this video again and understand that we can help you. If you want to be a homeowner, get in contact with us and let us do our magic on what we do to help you become a homeowner. Um, Maybe you need to send this over to somebody you know. If you know somebody that's looking to buy a house, maybe you need to send this to them. We have so many programs. This is just one of two that I've gone over. I'm going to continue to educate you guys on different resources and tools to help you become a homeowner so that you can build your legacy, build some equity, and financially build a stronger future for yourself and your family. Thank you for listening. And if you need anything, I look forward to hearing from you. We'll talk to you then. Bye bye.